Not where Villa would have expected him to be at the beginning of this game. The cup final is underway for the last time beneath the Twin Towers. And Melchior gets his first touch over on the right as we welcome you warmly around the world listening to BBC World Service. Welcome to Wembley for the last FA Cup final beneath the Twin Towers. Aston Villa against Chelsea, two famous old names, of course, in English football. The cup final is just underway. Chelsea got a free kick, and Didier Deschamps, who seems a little more ginger today, seems to have had a bit of a perm from here, just tucks the ball back, and Frank Leboeuf, of course, has got no perm at all. Hits it long, and it's controlled well in the air by Ugo Ekiog, and then headed away by little Alan Wright, not very far. Played back in again by Dennis Wise. These will be anxious moments, of course, at the start of the game, and Chelsea started quite brightly. Melchior over on the right-hand side, faced by Alan Wright. This is the Chelsea far side of the field. Melchior is taking a while getting going there against Ian Taylor, and it's out of play for Chelsea throw.
Yes, Melchior's come into this match because of Ferrer's not playing, and he started off with a lot of purpose down this right-hand side. He's a good player going forward. I think he's a little bit suspect in defence.
That was just about a legal throw. Thrown back to Desai, who'd gone forward. Desai's ball looking for George Weah. Weah holding off the challenge on the edge of the area from Delaney. Weah threatened to be tackled there by Carboni. They have hardly crossed the halfway line yet. The cup final underway. Square ball by Babayaro. In comes a challenge which is going to be penalised immediately by Graham Poll, the referee, on George Boateng. On Dennis Wise, he was a bit late and a bit high, and Graham Poll's telling him to calm things down. He will want the game to flow as much as he possibly can, as long as, of course, they stick to the letter of the law. What did you think of that?
I thought he got the ball, because what happened was that Wise's first touch on the ball took the ball away from him, and then Boateng came in, and I think he touched the ball first before he contacted Wise. I think he's a bit unfortunate to get it ticking off, but anyway, there we are.
So a free kick to Chelsea. To the left as we look at it, about 15 yards inside the Villa half. Hoisted high towards Poyet, who's scored 6 goals in the FA Cup this season. Poyet chases a lost cause really over on the far side, and it's going to be a Villa throw. And
that's a big good heading duel, wasn't it? Wright and Poyet on that right-hand side.
Are you surprised to see Poyet over on that right-hand side?
I am, really. I'm quite surprised. I don't think he's going to stay there, but we shall see.
Well, Desai at the moment has spent virtually the entire game so far inside the Villa half. That's a long punt forward. David James will gather that one in. David James, of course, who's in the England squad for the games against Brazil and Ukraine, but probably as cover for Richard Wright, who, of course, now is playing in the playoffs with Ipswich Town.
I think he'd be glad to get a first touch on the ball as well. It's important for a goalkeeper to get a touch of the ball early on. Edoy, so far, just watching.
Long one, the first time in the air between Dublin and Desai. That'll be a big battle. Desai gets it away. And that could, of course, be one of Villa's best threats, the ball in the air towards Dublin. Now Delaney sent off here in the semi-final. Dublin lets it run on. Carboni tries a shot, and it's smothered by Leboeuf, and the ball is headed away by Didier Deschamps, not very far. A little bit better now from Villa, starting to get more of the ball, but George Weah escapes around 2 or 3 challenges. George Weah now into Zola, back again to Weah, who the ball was behind him, but he managed to flick the ball forward, and the back pass is a bit short from Southgate, and James comes in to clear for Aston Villa. Chelsea pressing again. We're at the moment offside. Di Matteo back to Deschamps. Now Babayaro below on the Chelsea left. Ball slipped back to Leboeuf on the halfway line, and now Desai, who's got quite a lot of room in the centre circle. Nobody coming towards him in claret and blue. Desai into Zola, given away by Zola. Villa now trying to counter-attack. I don't think I've mentioned Merson's name yet in these opening few minutes. The ball is played back again to James. How long will we play?
4 minutes.
4 minutes.
4 minutes, and I think it's been a pretty good start, Mike. You know, they're trying to knock the ball around. Of course, it's a bit cooler now. There's no sun, and I think this quite often helps the player, because down there it can become like an oven. It can become really warm down on the pitch.
Goes without saying, it's a great atmosphere. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC World Service. The cup final from Wembley for the last time for 3 or 4 years, I suppose. There's talk of the final going to Cardiff next year. We'll wait and see. The ball is with Babayaro near side, short of the halfway line. Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Who can strike first here? Who can strike the first psychological blow? Throw from Babayaro. Weah in his white boots. George Weah. He started well here, George Weah. Of course, he's been selected ahead of Flo and Sutton, but Weah there is crowded out, and Villa clear not very well. But Wise pushes Dublin on the halfway line, and Villa take the kick quickly. And now Merson has his first real run with the ball. Down the Villa right. Merson hugging the touchline into Carboni. Leboeuf anticipated it well, but Carboni comes back in with a challenge. And Chelsea now look to Desai to clear, and with the right foot he finds Zola inside the centre circle. Off to Weah. We're to Deschamps. Good football from Chelsea. Poyet playing quite deep at the moment with his left foot, looking for Zola. Out comes James, 5 yards out of his area, and hits the ball back inside the Chelsea half. And this time Desai beaten by Dublin in the air, but he can't find anybody in claret and blue. Babayaro back to Lebel, given away by Leboeuf. Straight to Carboni, 25 yards out, and the shot was blocked by Marcel Desailly. And in a moment he'll have a word, I'm sure, with Leboeuf. Very careless by his fellow countryman. And now Desailly again. Desailly with a lovely ball to Wise, just inside the Villa half. Well played by Wise to find Poyet. Another long one from Poyet now, trying to stretch Villa down this near side. But Delaney's there, the Welshman, and Delaney clears, and it's out of play.
Bit careless by Leboeuf there. He gave the ball away to Carboni, who tried what I thought was a very adventurous shot from about 30 yards, and it was blocked. I think Leboeuf is a very good player, but he has a tendency every so often to have these little lapses. You can't afford to have that in cup finals.
Well, Carboni's not wearing the goal boots today. They seem to be light blue from here. And of course, it would be such an irony if he was to be the man to upset Gianluca Vialli and all his Italian connections here today. It's a throw to Chelsea, midway inside the Villa half, down the near side. Babayaro aims to throw the ball back to Leboeuf, and he lobbed it forward towards George Weah. And Southgate, of course, so familiar in these surroundings, clears for Aston Villa. Leboeuf looking a little edgy in the last few moments. As the ball line, this is probably De Hoy's first touch.
It is.
Away to our right, and it's an underarm simple throw to Desailly. Villa 0, Chelsea 0, the cup final live on 5 Live and BBC World Service. Welcome to you wherever you are, particularly if you're a big Villa or Chelsea fan listening to us a few thousand miles away. George Weah now, centre circle, finding Deschamps, a bit crowded at the moment. Chelsea looking for a little width down this near side, and then hit long by Babayaro, looking for Di Matteo, but he's beaten in the air by Alan Wright. Carboni's back in the left-back position. The clearance in the end by Gareth Barry, and it's out of play again over on the far side. Jimmy Arthur.
That was a terrific header by Wright. I don't know what height he is, about, 5'4", not much more. And he gets up with the biggest of them, and he's terrific in the air, really. People always talk about him, that being a weakness of his game, but he's not beaten too often in that situation.
Unlike Jimmy Armfield, a former Blackpool fullback. The ball comes across now to Delaney, who's got quite a bit of space down below on the Villa right. Delaney, square to Merson, who played in the cup final, of course, with Arsenal, given away by Merson, who was a Chelsea fan, of course, when he was a youth. Leboeuf, that's better from Leboeuf to Deschamps. Deschamps, it's too short towards George Weah. In comes Ugo Ekiog, and he finds Gareth Southgate. It's being played at quite a pace here. Long one now from Southgate, testing Babayaro. Babayaro heads the ball down, and Leboeuf lands the ball back inside the Villa half, and Ekiog taking no chances at all. By the way, it was an own goal from Ekiog, which gave Chelsea victory over Villa this season at Stamford Bridge. It was a 0-0 between them at Villa Park. So those games were tight, and this one could be just as tight. Babayaro again, back to Leboeuf. Leboeuf aims the ball across to the far side to find Melchiot. Melchiot short of the halfway line. He's got Poyet on the outside. He hits it long, though, looking for Zola, and Southgate takes responsibility, finds Wright again over on that Villa left. Different formations, of course. Villa with their wing-backs, Chelsea with their regulation back four. And in that back four is Melchiot, and he's playing it through that area now to Frank Leboeuf, and back again it goes to Ed De Hoy, who clears left-footed for Chelsea. Still the final settling down. Southgate stabs the ball forward again. Dublin would have been yards offside, and De Hoy's there once more in the Chelsea goal.
Yeah, she mentioned the pace. I think the first 9 minutes, it's as high a tempo as I've seen in a cup final for a while. The start has played a terrific pace. It's been noticeable too with Villa. You mentioned about Chelsea's back four.
Here comes Poyet for Chelsea. Stabs the ball to his right to Zola. Weah's in the area. Zola is just inside the area. Goes past the challenge from Wright. In comes the cross. Headed away by Southgate. Falls to Wise. Wise strikes it well, right-footed. But David James is there by his left-hand post to hold on to that ball. That was quite a sting from Dennis Wise.
Well, that's the best effort so far. Zola, almost inevitably when Chelsea gets something going, was the man behind the move. He got down the right-hand side, pulled it back. The ball was cleared out, and it came straight out to Wise. It was a good volley from Wise. Fortunately for Villa, it was straight at James, who held on well.
Alan Wright now for Aston Villa over on the far side. We've played 10 minutes of the cup final. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. We'll get a word from Chris Waddle in a moment as well, who's our guest here today. Gareth Barry of Aston Villa looking for Dublin. Dublin this time jumping with Leboeuf. The ball forced to Delaney. In it goes to Merson. Back again to Delaney. Wide on the Villa right. It goes across. Decent cross there. Dublin's challenging with Leboeuf. And Villa win the first corner of the game. Corner kick to Aston Villa down the right-hand side. Paul Merson to take it. And here's a chance now for the Villa centre-back, certainly Ugo Ekiog, is going to go into the penalty area. Looks like Gareth Southgate's going to go in there as well. So Paul Merson preparing to take a corner. Chelsea have got everybody back, including George Weah. Dion Dublin, of course, always a threat inside that 6-yard area. Desai is standing with him. Merson raises his right arm. Villa players will know what that means. In goes the corner from Merson. It's headed away by Gustavo Poyet. Zola's trying to get clear, then he's brought down by Boateng. And let's just find out now what Chris Waddle's made of these opening 10 minutes. Chris?
Yeah, I think Chelsea have settled very well. They look quite a little bit nervous. That was a good attack by them just a couple of minutes ago. I think they play very high without putting a lot of pressure on the ball, Villa, and I think they could cause a few problems with that.
Thank you very much. Chris Waddle, more from him, of course, in due course. Chelsea now trying to press, and that's a little bit loose from Poyet. And Wise slides the ball back to Desai on the edge of his own penalty area. Desai sees Leboeuf in space, and now Leboeuf bringing the ball out from right to left to Chelsea. Hits a long one down the near side, looking for George Weah. Delaney should get that, and in the end it's safely gathered in by David James.
Yes, I was saying, Mike, that we talked about Chelsea's back four, but Villa, they've got a three-man central defence, really, of Ekiog, Southgate and Barry, but the two wing-backs, Delaney and Wright, are very keen to drop back and make five all the time. You know, it's a simple tactic, I know, but they do it quite effectively. Every time Chelsea get the ball, they go straight into a defensive role.
Well, Desai so far is winning the headers against Dublin, as Deschamps scrambles the ball away for Chelsea, and Paul Merson just can't keep it in down below on the near side. He thought he had, and it's going to be a Chelsea noise. Fantastic noise around the place here. Before the game, they had children wearing colours of all the shirts of all the teams that have won the FA Cup at Wembley since 1923. Big smile on Jimmy's face when he saw the Blackpool strip coming out. And of course, Chelsea and Villa have both won the cup before, but in Villa's case, it's an awful long time. Many of their fans today, of course, will be seeing them for the first time in the FA Cup final. Chelsea on the ball. Good challenge coming in by Gareth Barry for Aston Villa. Then the tackle coming in from Poyet, and it's back with Carboni. Carboni rides the challenge from Zola. And then with his right foot, an excellent little dink ball to Merson. Merson now. Oh, and a slip by Boateng, but he manages to recover to find Ekiog. Ekiog, with nobody in blue coming towards him. On the halfway line for Villa. Long one from Ugo Ekiog. Could turn out to be a good ball. Merson's there against Babayaro. Turns it back to Delaney, a bit short, and then Delaney's fouled by Di Matteo. Cross comes Graham Poll, England's referee, of course, for Euro 2000, which begins 3 weeks today. And just mildly there rebukes Roberto Di Matteo. And a free kick to Villa. Wide on the right. Ekiog again going into the area. Southgate goes forward as well. Merson to take it. Lots of players together on the edge of the area. Dublin makes his run. In goes the kick from Merson. Looks like it's too near to De Hoy. He flapped a little bit at that with the punch. And in the end, it's scrambled away by Melchiot. And it's going to be a Villa throw over on the far side. De Hoy seemed to be slightly confused by that one and had more problems really than he should have done. Alan Wright with a Villa throw-in. Throws the ball down to Dublin. Dublin gets the ball immediately into the area, and this time very safe handling from De Hoy. And De Hoy throws towards us down the near side. Zola trying to get in the game, taking on Delaney. Good challenge by the Welshman. Throw to Chelsea.
That's a bit better from Villa. It's a well-practiced free kick, that one, thrown down the left-hand side. He goes to Dublin, and he's turning sideways on, and without thinking, he just lifts the ball into the box, and of course, players go after it. Seen them do that quite a few times. This time, just lacks a little bit of accuracy.
14 minutes gone in the cup final, still 0-0. 5 Live and BBC World Service in the Test match. England 354 for 4. 354 for 4. Now here come Chelsea again. Deschamps, loose from Deschamps, and it's Paul Merson to Villa. Merson battling forward, lays the ball forward, looking for the runner who's Boateng. Across comes Desai, not the greatest first touch from him, but he's got the pace, puts his foot on the ball by the corner flag, and then just settles for the throw.
Well, I'm surprised that Graham Poll missed that. But Merson's still on his knees. Deschamps brought him down there in the middle of the field. And I'm surprised, really, he hasn't done a ticking off. Villa didn't even get a free kick.
And now a foul by Roberto Di Matteo. Even though he was the player who went to the ground. And Delaney has the ball, but Merson surely will be the man to come and cross and take this latest free kick for Aston Villa. 15 minutes gone in the first half. Again, a Dublin and Taylor there, just discussing tactics on the edge of the area. Who's going to make the little charge here? And in it goes from poor kick from Merson. I'm not sure if the Chelsea players were 10 yards away. It's gone out of play for a throw-in. Taylor and Dublin have got all sorts of plans, obviously, every time there's a a corner kick or a free kick to try and confuse the Chelsea defenders. Throw in taken. Carboni, who's made a quiet start. Now Leboeuf. Good ball to Deschamps. Is all on his own at the moment. Nobody to give it to. Eventually it goes to the far side and Melchiot. Melchiot for Chelsea. Not going forward with any great purpose there. Gives the ball back to Desailly. Desailly now into the Villa half. Glanced off by Weah. Melchiot might get there. Across comes Gareth Barry. And he's late. And that should be a yellow card, I think, from Graham Poll, because there was no real attempt there to get the ball. Down goes Melchiot. This will surely be the first caution of the cup final.
Yes, he was never going to get there, Barry. It was a bit of an experience as much as anything. He went to try and cut Melchiot off. He'd no chance of getting there. He'd have been better really trying to cut the angle across. But anyway, it's a free kick and a dangerous situation. It was a quick break that by Chelsea. Melchiot, he's very keen to get forward, Mike, down that right-hand side. Really is eager.
Well, now Paul Merson has had a couple of chances with free kicks. Wide on the right. This time it will be Gianfranco Zola. And this time Desailly and Leboeuf go into the area. And here comes the Zola free kick. Desailly had a go at it, didn't really make contact, and it's a fly kick away by Dion Dublin. Got really good distance with the clearance, but a powerful header back by Melchiot into the Villa half. Villa again just a little untidy, but the ball breaks kindly for Merson. Merson's starting to get more involved now. Finds Delaney down the near side, but it was an awkward one in the air for him to control, and Babayaro takes up the possession for Chelsea, finding Deschamps, who's trying to stamp his authority here. Long one, but a poor one there. He's just hasn't been the same player playing for Chelsea this season as we remember with Juventus and, of course, especially France.
Yes, I think that Chelsea has started the better, look slightly more confident passing the ball around. Villa haven't got any real tempo in their game just yet.
And the afternoon still dry, still perfect. Rain threatened later today in London, but it's just about right for this occasion as De Hoy clears for Chelsea into the Villa half. Poyet's beaten Barry, but he's not really done any damage with that one in the air. And in fact, the whistle's gone anyway for a foul by Poyet. And a free kick to be taken by David James, who hasn't really been troubled yet. Just that one very fierce shot from Dennis Wise, but it was pretty much straight at him. And James clears for Aston Villa. Looks for Delaney wide on the right. Delaney getting up well above Babayaro. Leboeuf controls the ball on the edge of the area. Then he slips the ball neatly round Dion Dublin, and Leboeuf strikes the clearance to the far side. Zola gets in first against Barry, but Wright is working well alongside Barry, and between them they get the ball back for Aston Villa. Gareth Southgate, the Villa captain. Southgate just shuffles 10 yards forward and then hits it to the far side. Gareth Barry's gone across there, and Melchiot's having a few problems, and then he's late on Gareth Barry, having lost the ball, and Graham Poll will need to speak to him as well.
Yes, that's a foul. He'll contest it because he'll say that he was trying to get towards the ball, but he didn't. He could quite clearly block the run. Barry caught him actually there. What happened was Melchiot was caught waiting for the ball, and he put his right foot across, and he did that for one reason only. That was to stop Barry getting forward. The referee's absolutely right.
1-1, yellow cards. Melchiot of Chelsea, Barry of Villa, and now slight variation on the theme. A Villa free kick on the left-hand side this time, the far side of the field. And it's going to be Merson, both arms raised. Ekiog, Southgate, Taylor, Dublin, all in the area, all moving around. And it's Taylor who heads the ball over the bar. And in fact, it's gone off a Chelsea player. Chelsea are protesting. It's going to be a Villa corner near side.
Babayaro it was who got there. Good free kick that, very clever. There's two or three players running onto the near post, and it left Taylor at the back post with Babayaro, and that's what they were aiming for. And actually Taylor, I think, got there first, but he just got a touch on it, and Babayaro's got the ball behind. Corner kick.
And here it comes again, Merson. Merson's corner kick, and headed away well, I think it was by Poyet of Chelsea. And Boateng, the Dutchman, will get there first and play the ball back to Barry on the halfway line. Villa 0, Chelsea 0 on 5 Live and BBC World Service, live from Wembley. Leboeuf's header for Chelsea put Babayaro under a little pressure inside the penalty area, and Carboni's tussling with him down there. Babayaro in the end doing well for his side, and Weah, who made such a good start, looking very, very sharp, trying to get involved below us. We played 20 minutes as the ball is played back once more to David James, who just steps out of his penalty area. He's 10 yards or so out of the area. Then he hits a high one to the far side, aimed towards Alan Wright. Wright jumping with Poyet. Both players have missed it. Wright can't keep it in, and a throw to Chelsea.
20 minutes gone, and not a great deal of goal-mouth action. What we would call shots or attempts at goal so far. Just the one really pretty good volley came from Wise after 9 minutes, went straight at James. So far, there's only been crosses really to deal with in Chelsea's defence for Head Doy. Nothing more.
Well, Carboni had just sneaked offside there as Boateng played the ball through. The cup final needs a decent game. Been a long time since we had a real classic. This one hasn't started that brilliantly. It's Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Very tight. Need an early goal if we can get one here, as George Weah now has ventured offside. And that's going to be Aston Villa free kick. And we're already almost at the halfway point of the first half. 21 minutes played. Difficult to say really who's shading this one on points at the moment, as the ball is with Ekiog of Villa. Chelsea started very brightly. Villa starting now to get a little more of the possession, and certainly spending more time inside the Chelsea half. It's Southgate centre circle. Long one again to right, keeping his position over on that left-hand side. Heads the ball back well for Gareth Barry. In goes the cross from Barry. Desai slipped. Still managed to get a boot on the ball. And Leboeuf's clearance hasn't gone too far. This is much better now from Villa suddenly. Southgate hoists the high one down the near side. Di Matteo's tucking back against Delaney. The ball jumps up at Di Matteo, who uses his hand to control it. And here could be danger for Chelsea, right on the edge of the area. Handball against Di Matteo. A free kick to Villa, which Merson, of course, is going to take. Again, all the men in blue are coming back. And again, the big men from the back go forward and discuss what shall we do with this one. Maybe Merson might even have a crack from the angle here. He's got the option of left or right foot here, Paul Merson. Ugo Ekiog scrapping away in the area. In goes the cross from Merson. It's George Weah getting underneath it for Chelsea. Melchot's missed his header. Deschamps heads the ball out. Zola caught in possession. Dublin looked like it came back from an offside position. The flag's gone up. Graham Poll hasn't seen the flag yet. Now he has, and brings some order and blows his whistle. Awards Chelsea the free kick for offside. We're at the halfway point already of the first half. And here now to half-time alongside Jimmy is Alan Green.
Well, there was a collision there between George Weah and Dion Dublin. Dublin was winded. But the result is a free kick to Chelsea inside the D of their penalty area. I thought, Jimmy, that Chelsea started the brighter of the two, but the last 10 minutes it's been Aston Villa.
They've looked better. Villa have settled down now a little bit. I thought they had a shaky start, Villa, and I thought Chelsea looked much more confident. But I would say in the last 10 minutes, Villa have started to get a little more in the middle of the field.
Dialli down on the bench, but John Gregory, as has been his way over the last few months, is up in the stands near the Royal Box, which is where his players prefer him to be. They don't get so much verbal abuse that way. But Villa are certainly giving as good as they're getting at the moment. 23 minutes played in this cup final, the last cup final at Wembley under the Twin Towers. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Free kick to Villa, 10 yards short of the halfway line, to the right of the centre circle. Ekiog to take it. Barry's available on the far side. It's swung towards the left, but ahead of Barry towards right, who jumped with Poyet, and Poyet's header away, met by Barry. Barry clips it forward, left-footed into the Chelsea penalty area. Desai heads it clear. Melchot heads it down, and it might reach Weah, but really Zola and Weah are being totally starved of possession here. Right for Villa. Along the left touchline towards Dion Dublin, and Desai gets a little nudge surely from Dublin. Oh, it's a throw-in. You're nodding your head. And in other words, you think it wasn't a foul on Desai?
No, I don't think so. No, I thought he was, shielding the ball really, trying to make sure it went out of play, and Dion Dublin chased after him.
Here's another one as Desai runs back, and this time the ball scurries behind for a goal kick, and Desai turns and says to the referee, Graham Poll, "What are you on?"
That's right. Yeah, I think what he tried to do, Alan, you've seen it so often, haven't we? Particularly, with the continental players shielding the ball, waiting for it to go, standing the ground while Dion Dublin got round the back of him, and the referee allowed it to go on.
They're the views of Jimmy Armfield. Chris Waddle's alongside me to the left. 25 minutes gone, Chris. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Villa's settled down well. I think they've changed the shape. They've put Merson on the right, Carboni on the left, 3 against 4, and they've put a bit more pressure on the ball. And again, Chelsea's problem is they can't get it up the strikers, and they can't get Poyet behind them.
Merson flicks it to the right to Delaney, who's always willing to come forward from that right wing back position. Infield it goes to Boateng, fouled by Wise. Play continues. Villa's advantage. Barry away to the left, and Alan Wright close to the corner flag now. Back to Barry. First time cross, swept into the penalty area. Came off of the Chelsea head. Shot driven in by Merson just over the crossbar. And now there'll be attention to George Boateng, who is fouled by Wise in the centre circle.
Yes, he's going to have some treatment now. It's good play by Villa. Wright got the ball over, and when it came out, came all the way to Merson. It was a terrific volley from Merson. Very right-footed play.
Wise is going to be booked
for his foul. The referee allowed Villa the advantage. And consequently now he's telling Wise he thought he came in late, and he's going to get a yellow card. said that a few times this season.
No, not Dennis. Not little innocent Dennis. He's a terrific player.
Well,
and the Chelsea fans are just letting Mr. Cole know what they think of him.
well, what he did there, he came in from the back, and he knows full well
he
what
caught
he's
him,
done.
Jimmy, but it wasn't that much.
No, but it's a challenge from behind, you see, that they're punishing. And, of course, he's going to be going with the England team, I would have thought, and that's something you're going to have to get used to.
Yeah, except, Jimmy, that the challenge from behind over recent months has been ignored by referees. Just the usual lack of consistency. We're used to it.
When we get to Holland and Belgium, it won't be there.
No, I know that. Well, that's quite a hold of in play there. 26 minutes gone. You're listening to 5 Live in the BBC World Service. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0 in the FA Cup final. Southgate hits it high over the halfway line towards Dublin. Melchuk jumps and heads it down, but only to Taylor. Taylor to Dublin, on to Carboni, but he's offside. He's a good 4 or 5 yards offside. And it's a free kick to Chelsea as a result. Yeah, I thought it started very brightly the game.
It did. The tempo was terrific, yes. And what's happened is now that Villa have closed down much quicker in the middle of the field, and consequently, you know, there hasn't been the supply getting through to the front players.
Smile on the face of John Gregory, who's obviously happy with the way things are going. And here's Merson running forward, and then he goes down belatedly after a challenge from Babayaro. And I'm afraid, Paul, that was a dive. Sorry to say it, but it was a dive.
He's just a bit late, wasn't he, falling?
Southgate, though, to Taylor, and then Taylor gives the ball away to Weah. George Weah comes forward and dances around one challenge, and then Ekiol gets it again, but the referee decides it's a foul. And it's a free kick to Chelsea, taken by Di Matteo. Deschamps lifts it on into the right side of the penalty area. Barry's there ahead of Zola and hits it out of play for a throw into Chelsea.
I've been impressed by Weah's start, Alan. Well, we all know he's a very talented player, but when he gets the ball, he can dribble, you know, he can take people on, and he's very strong as well.
Melchuk crosses hand to the penalty. Out comes Shane, and he runs into Ekiok, and the ball bundled out of his hands, and then he falls on it, and it's Villa's safety. Big smile on David James' face. James was known as Calamity when he was at Anfield, and that was actually quite calamitous the way he dropped that ball, but he's a much improved goalkeeper.
Oh, yes.
Long clearance from the Villa goalie upfield, and Babayaro just about keeps it in play, preventing a throw into Villa. And then Babayaro clips it to the halfway line, and Weah. Tackle injured by Ekiol, and Babayaro surely fouled Dublin there. Graham Poll shakes his head. Leboeuf for Chelsea to Desailly. I can't see that pair, well, not as a pair, being at Chelsea next season. Here's Zola. Maybe heading back to Italy or perhaps to Turkey. Gianfranco Zola. Infield to the captain Wise and Desailly once more, and it's going back to Ed de Hoy. Ed de Hoy slides the ball comfortably forward, away from Carboni, and Desailly moves forward, and then he hits a long crossfield ball to Weah, who's just offside.
It was a great pass from Desailly. It must have been all of 50 yards that, from the right-hand side of the field out to the left, and George Weah really should have known better, because he had a clear view along the back line, and he could see everybody, and he got himself offside. Did you notice just before kick-off, Jimmy, George Weah clearly in prayer? Yes, he did.
On his own. Free kick is taken for Villa. Dublin heads it down, but Wise is there. And Wise finds Poyet, who's been almost totally anonymous so far in this half. And that was an awful pass from the Uruguayan straight through to David James. They've switched wings now. Di Matteo's gone to the right, Poyet to the left. What they're trying to do, actually, they're trying to get something together right here. I've been watching them. They've been talking to each other just a moment ago. And I think they're trying to get some kind of sequence back in the play. They've lost it a little bit in the middle of the field. It's been a poor period of play for both teams. And there's a foul on Deschamps by Boateng, is it? Poyet says he wasn't very happy about that. And Wise is getting involved with Dublin. Earlier he was mouthing off at Paul Merson. I mean, Dennis likes to play his game on the edge, doesn't he? He does. Maybe he needs that sort of stimulus. Yeah, which is a shame, because he certainly can't afford that stimulus at international level. Yeah, I'm surprised. Di Matteo has now gone really over onto the right-hand side. Poyet is going forward as much as anything. Now, that doesn't surprise me. Half an hour play. Chelsea free kick and played forward, and Ekiog under pressure from Poyet heads up behind for a Chelsea corner, their first of the game. Yes, he did right there. Now, Poyet, I think he's a better player when he gets in the last third of the field. I think he is. And I'd like to see him playing there more for Chelsea. The Chelsea corner is at the Villa end. That's the tunnel end at Wembley this afternoon. And Wise will take it. Leboeuf's on the near post. And Desailly's up there. So too is Weah and Poyet, of course. So there's pressure here. on the Villa defence, and there's a little skirmish involving Gustavo Poyet. The referee just stopped play. Poyet is definitely being obstructed there by Ian Taylor. The referee says to Wise, get on with the corner. Here it comes, right-footed from the left-hand side and straight into the arms of James, despite the run of Weir.
Good catch. He was under a little bit of pressure too from George Weir there, but his goal kick wasn't very good.
How do you feel about a defender putting his arms around you as you're trying to play a corner?
Yeah, not particularly good.
No, well, that's what was happening there. Taylor had his arms around Poyet, and the referee said play on.
It happens a lot though, Alan, now.
Too often.
Far more now than ever before in football, you see that.
Carboni, back to right for Villa, and Barry, who's played pretty well in these opening 31 minutes. Now the captain, Southgate, all on his own, and Southgate approaches the centre circle and clips it right-footed towards Dublin. Dublin cushions the header down to Delaney, the Welshman, who was sent off for the semi-final here against Bolton. Now it's back by Ekiog to James, and it truly is a fallow period in the game. We haven't had a goal-mouth incident really since that Wise shot after 9 minutes.
Well, they switched back again. Di Matteo now is down on the left again, and Poyet's gone back to the right. That experiment didn't last long, did it?
No, it didn't. Babiaro to Deschamps, and now Leboeuf to Desailly, just ahead of his own penalty area, Marcel Desailly. And he sees a little room to run into, moves forward, and then clips it to the right-hand side to Melshot. Melshot back to Desailly. Carboni just hustling, trying to press them into a mistake, but Desailly careful to Di Matteo. And Di Matteo aimed at what looked like a good ball towards Zola, but it was intercepted by Delaney, and Delaney forward now, infield to, Deschamps. Now, that has to be a yellow card, and it's not going to be. It's a free kick for Fallon Boateng, and why is Deschamps not being booked?
Well,
That's a joke.
Well, I mean, say, what happened was there, he controlled the ball, and it just came in, just came along and took his legs from underneath him.
Is that not... Chris Waddle, why is that not a yellow card?
Well, I totally agree. I think it is a yellow card, but he's obviously saw something different.
He's watching a different game, the referee.
Well, I mean, it's quite straightforward there. The ball had gone away, and he actually took his legs from underneath him.
Oh, well. Wise towards Zola. Zola's first touch was not good, but Ekiog didn't clear properly, and it's out over the touchline, throw into Chelsea. Zola throws to Di Matteo, midway inside the Villa half. Back to Zola. Still trying to get into the game, Gianfranco Zola. That's a good ball to Deschamps. Melshot moves forward, ignored by Deschamps, who tries to clip across to Zola of all people, and it's headed away by Delaney. That wasn't the right option from Deschamps. One back for Chelsea by Babiaro. And now Desailly. And suddenly Villa are heading back. 33 minutes gone in the FA Cup final at Wembley. This is 5 Live and the BBC World Service. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Leboeuf to Deschamps. Deschamps to Desailly, and Desailly flicks it forward, right-footed, Weir's after it, and he's beaten in the air by Alan Wright, and it's cleared by Barry. It's not over the touchline, still in play. Poyet on the far side. Boateng with him. Poyet does well. Poyet, infield to Deschamps. Deschamps just ahead of the halfway line, plays it back into the Chelsea half to Desailly, and Desailly slides it forward left-footed. Good ball to Poyet, and now through to Zola. James out of his penalty area, confidently takes the ball away from the Italian, and then lashes the clearance upfield.
He has a shot. Straight to the other end. I think I'd like to mention Deschamps here. He's been very fortunate he hasn't been yellow carded, but so far I think he's been very effective. I think he stopped Merson getting his runs down the middle of the field, and he's standing in front of the 2 central defenders there, and he's making it very difficult.
Sorry, Jim, at Lords, England are 374 for 4 against Zimbabwe in the first test. Carboni struggling to keep his feet, and he certainly seemed to be fouled by Deschamps, but obviously Deschamps can get away with anything with this referee. Here's Zola forward, and Zola falls over, and that's not a free kick. That time I agreed with Graham Poll. Merson now to Dublin. Merson takes it up again, running through the centre circle. Carboni to his left, the pass to him, a little behind him. Carboni immediately flicks it on. Desailly works the clearance away to safety, away over the halfway line, and dropping to Alan Wright, who volleys it forward, but only to a royal blue shirt. And Wise plays it to Poyet. Oh, we need a goal. We need a goal. Poyet to Zola. Ekiog close by. Babiaro's down the left. Zola still has the ball, though. Now he plays it to Babiaro. Zola once more. Retreating. Hard by the touchline. Given back to Leboeuf. Leboeuf now. Looking to the edge of the penalty area towards Weir's run. Well read by Gareth Southgate. And Southgate takes it away from the Liberian and then hits it out of play.
Well, it isn't a great spectacle, but it's fiercely contested, of course, as you would expect a cup final to be. But the commitment level is very high on both sides. A bit untidy, though.
Danger for Villa. John Gregory's out of his seat in the stand. He's out now in the technical area.
Giving his new suit an airing.
It's lovely. He looks very dapper. I'll bet his words aren't so dapper. Anyway, a fresh instruction from John Gregory. Still Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. We've got 9 minutes to go to half-time at Wembley. Desai for Chelsea. Right-footed. Forward to Weah. Weah's first touch not good enough. Cleared by Poyet, and then there's a foul by Boateng on Deschamps. And it's a free kick to Chelsea. And I've seen Leboeuf strike them from this range.
Yes, he might have a go here, but Deschamps again has won the free kick. He really is an old soldier. He's a real crafty player. He knows, just how to invite people into challenges. He knows when to get his shoulder in.
Wise takes the free kick to Poyet. Poyet tried to volley goalwards. That was a great challenge by Ekiol.
Terrific. He was wide awake there, Ekiol, and it was very important. Lovely free kick taken by Chelsea by Wise. Chipped it forward right down the middle of the field. Running off the ball by Poyet, of course, his strong suit. And as he got his shot in, Ekiol there just took the sting out of it.
Long clearance upfield by James, headed down by Dublin, and cleared by Desai, who's missed absolutely nothing at the back. What's the referee spotted?
Offside. Offside, yes.
A flag raised for offside against Weah, presumably.
Yes, because he came back to look onside, but in fact he started offside.
Villa have already taken the free kick. It's with Barry and now Boateng. Boateng and Taylor, the two bulldogs, as Gregory calls them, at the heart of that Villa midfield. But Villa lose possession, and now it's over the halfway line. Great control by George Weah. Wonderful run by Dennis Wise. Zola's in a good position too, but Weah's pass picks neither of them out.
Good challenge back. It was very important, but it was a confidence factor as much as anything.
Ball given away by Taylor. Here's Zola, just outside the Villa penalty area, onto his right foot, trying to make room for the shot. Tackled well by Taylor, and it's cleared by Villa.
Second challenge on the run by Taylor. That's been very important to Villa. That was a very important one. As Zola was coming in from the left on his right foot, his favoured right foot. He was looking to get a shot in there.
Dublin into Boateng inside the centre circle, and then a poor ball by Boateng, headed away for Chelsea. And it's now with George Weah. Ekiol across. Weah into the penalty area. Right-footed cross too high for Zola, and harmlessly behind for a goal kick.
Well, that was a bit of a waste by Weah there. What happened was, it was a challenge, first of all, from Boateng's cross by Poyet, and he headed it forward. I thought for a second that Weah was offside, but the linesman was right up with play. He tucked it away with his right foot, but there was nobody there within any distance, and consequently the ball has gone out for a tame goal kick. And I feel what this game is lacking at the moment, really, in terms for a spectacle, has been what I call goalmouth incidents.
There ain't been much.
No, not many goalmouth incidents, but there's a terrific tempo. The game's been played. It's very competitive.
Weah back to Babayaro. Babayaro quickly forward, but Poyet had run into an offside position and then had come back, so he wasn't there for the pass. There's been a wicket at Lord's. Pat Murphy.
Nick Knight is out for 44, caught at deep gully off the bowling of Guy Whittle. It's T. Alex Stewart still there on 115, 376 for 5, Alan.
Thanks very much, Pat. Here at Wembley, 6 minutes to go to half-time. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. And like you, Jim, you see that little sticker on my notes for the commentary? I had Flo in, not Weah. I know he was the favoured one, Weah, but
yes,
Flo and Zola for me. Here's Di Matteo. Tried to get the ball through to Weah. It was intercepted by Southgate and partially cleared, but only to Poyet. Dublin tracking Poyet back. It's with Babayaro. Forward towards the Uruguayan again, and he can't keep that in play, no. Wasn't a great ball from Babayaro. Throw into Villa.
Yes, like you, I think Flo was the bit of the man, but I must be honest, Weah, he always looks the part when you see him. He's got terrific control of the ball. He's capable of anything. And I think technically he's probably a better footballer than Flo. It's how players play together, I always think, that makes such a difference. And of course, I think Flo and Zola have had a very good understanding.
Also, interesting television shot of Julian Joachim. Dublin in for Joachim today. Here's Wright on the far side. Midway inside the Chelsea half. Thought about an early cross into the penalty area. Decline. Now it's over to Carboni. Left of the penalty area. Back to Wright. First time cross, is it? Yes, just dinked into the box. Merson is there, but forced wide, and it's behind for a goal kick.
Yes, Carboni tried it towards the corner flag and laid the ball back to Wright, and I thought he was going to knock the ball into the box, but he didn't. He knocked it short, and I think it's very difficult for a forward player to get to that, and I don't think Merson was ever going to get it under control. and Desai certainly wasn't going to let him. And the ball's gone out again. Very similar to the Chelsea move just a moment ago. Looked good, no end product.
Are you beginning to feel penalties?
No, not yet.
I am.
Long time yet.
I'm telling you.
Southgate.
I've got a feeling. I think there was only one goal between these sides in the Premiership meetings this season.
That's right.
And that was an own goal.
But defensively, to be fair, Alan, defensively they're both good. And they've also got players in the middle of the field. And I think this is one of the reasons why we've got this type of match. You've got Wise and Deschamps, playing in there. And you've got Taylor and Boateng for Villa. And they're both, all good tacklers. All good tacklers.
Way down the right for Chelsea, tackled by a ball people Carboni. I don't think the linesman gave the free kick, but the referee did. It is about 5 yards in from the right touchline. Zola's gone across. It's level with the edge of the Villa penalty area, and Villa have got everybody back, apart from Paul Merson. He's the only one left in a reasonably forward position. Free kick taken far too quickly. I think the linesman telling him precisely where it should be, which is further away than they wanted it to be. Someone get the ball, please. We haven't got all day.
I thought we had these balls thrown on at different angles.
Yeah, but that confuses them. I've got to say, unfortunately, some of the ball boys aren't bright, and you frequently find two balls on the pitch at the same time. Now, are we happy? Good. Free kick to Chelsea. 3 minutes to half-time. Zola whips it in. Desai's up there, gets his head to it, but is behind for a goal kick. He looked across to the linesman, Graham Pole, wondering if there was a Villa deflection, but the linesman didn't raise his flag, or didn't indicate with his flag, and it is a goal kick.
Barry got in there between Desai and Weir, and it was very important. Strong lad, Desai, very powerful player. Central defender, of course. He came in there. Really, I thought Zola might have just knocked the free kick a little bit higher.
Still a very quiet game and still goalless between Aston Villa and Chelsea in the FA Cup final. Zola to Wise. Milshot to his right. That's the simple pass. And it is simple from Wise. Milshot, infield again to Deschamps. And Wise, Carboni hustling, but Wise just stepped away from him. That's a good pass to Di Matteo to the right of the penalty. First time cross, high, dropping beyond Zola. Zola jumped into Delaney, and Zola's still trying to keep it for Chelsea, and fouls Delaney, according to Graham Pole.
I think he's a bit unlucky there, Zola. I really do. I think he'd every right to go for the ball there. Free kick. It's going to be taken right on the touchline. Oh, by James. So surprises me.
Goalkeepers coming this far out of their penalty. I hate it.
He must be confident.
Yeah, or stupid.
Yeah, I think, he's taking a free kick here, and he must be no more than, 3 yards, from the touchline.
He whacks it very long, of course, and he's immediately sprinting back. It's so long it's into the penalty area and straight through to the Hoy. LeBeuf is... Dublin challenged LeBeuf. LeBeuf turned to complain, and then he turned down to collapse in, quote, agony, clutching his left thigh.
Yes, he did get up right away, but what happened was he was chasing after Dublin was after him, and he got his knee into his left buttock. That's what it was. And
is that painful?
I wouldn't want him to do that to me before I go home, anyway. I think the thing is that it's it doesn't half hurt.
What would I do in such circumstances, Jim?
I've got to drive. But it's just very painful. But he went down, and he'll be all right. He'll recover. He'll live.
Well, he'll let everybody know that he doesn't like it.
No, he doesn't.
As is Frank's way. Frank Bella, he's just coming across to have a scream with the linesman, is he? No, he's not. No, he's coming off, and then he'll go back on again. Of course, it's the usual nonsense. And it's a throw in to Villa. I think Merson's going to throw the ball back into Chelsea's possession. They do. They throw it back to Hoy, and then. The silly episode carries on. Of course, the referee, having told LeBeuf to go off the field, now tells them to get back on. This is a completely pointless exercise.
It is. It really is. I agree with you. Well, I said that in the World Cup, and I still feel the same. I've never changed my mind. I can't see what it achieves, really.
Nothing at all. It just wastes their time. How much stoppage time? 1 minute. I thought we had a few more stoppages than that, the first half. Just 1 minute to go. To half-time, Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0, and I still think we've only had the one goal-mouth incident. That was a Wise volley straight at the goalkeeper, James.
Yes, the only thing that's really gone ahead to Hoy's goal has been a couple of free kicks and a corner where they had a little bit of discomfort. I don't know if you remember as well, the ball that came from the right-hand side, Ed de Hoy punched up in the air. But that apart, there's been nothing really at Chelsea's goal.
De Hoy clears. Barry heads it down, but only to Di Matteo, back to Wise, and Wise flicks it into no man's land.
Yes, and what's happened is the game has got compressed in the middle of the field, and I think that's because of the midfield players. You know, Taylor and Boateng for Villa, as I said, you've got Deschamps and Wise, crafty campaigners, very good tacklers, all four of them are, and they're, you know, bolstering the defenders, and it's very hard for the forward players. The forward player hardly got in the game so far.
We've had our minute of stoppage time. Graham Poole puts his whistle to his lips and puts the first half out of its agony, Jimmy.
Yes, I think Chelsea started the better, and as the game went along for about 20 minutes or so, I thought Villa picked up the tempo, and I thought they might be able to put something together, but not quite. It was almost, just like Chelsea had been before them, almost. The best shot so far came from a volley from Wise. It was well held by James, but at the middle, at the moment, it's what I call it's a midfield scramble.
Or stalemate.
At the moment.
It's totally lacking in serious goalmouth incident.
Yes.
And today of all days, frankly, Jimmy, we needed a good cup final. I mean, it might yet prove to be a good cup final.
Yeah, well, there's always something could happen, and there's always the human element to creep into it as well. You always expect, something's going to happen. Perhaps we'll find a hero somewhere, or even a villain, who's going to make an error that could cost the cup final, but who knows?
And perhaps there'll be extra time and penalties, heaven forbid. Half-time at Wembley, Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0.
I suppose for the neutrals, they're looking at it perhaps, as we have in the first half, but for the fans here, they're really committed to it. They really come to see if their team can win the cup as much as anything. It's not just the spectacle they've come for. They want to see if they can win the cup. So that alone really will keep this going.
Just needs a goal. Doesn't matter who gets it, just needs a goal now to really get things moving here. It's George Weir for Chelsea, down the right-hand side. Again, quite congested as Dennis Wise, I don't know what he was quite trying to do there. He threads the ball into the penalty area. And you were interested to see David James on the pitch throughout the entire interval, Jimmy, as the sun is coming up.
Yes, well, he stayed on with Jim Barron, the Aston Villa coach, driving the ball at him. Of course, that's entirely up to him. I've never seen it before in a cup final where he's actually stayed on right the way through, just keeping his handling going, keeping his muscles loose.
Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Second half is underway at Wembley. You're listening to 5 Live and BBC World Service, and here comes Ian Taylor for Villa. He's tackled almost from behind there by Didier Deschamps, and now Weir's trying to get clear on the halfway line, but Barry, who's having a good game, wins the ball and then lets Wright take over. First ball in the area, and that's headed wide by Ian Taylor. Taylor does get forward actually from midfield sometimes. Tall man in midfield, and he's just steered that header wide of De Hoy's far post.
Good interception by Barry to start with. I agree with you, Mike. I thought he did well in the first half. He had a shaky start to the game, but he's only a young lad, still learning his trade. He came in there, won the challenge, played it hard to Alan Wright, who started well. And he got a lovely chip ball in, but it was a difficult one for Taylor, who got his head to the ball. I don't think there was any real threat to De Hoy's goal.
What I like about Barry, he's very comfortable on the ball when he crosses the halfway line. Good footballer. And now Zola, and he didn't really have many openings in the first half. Poyet takes over. Chip ball is given offside against Di Matteo, I think, over on the far side there. And that's going to be a free kick to Aston Villa. Two very well organised defences, as you'll gather, of course, with De Hoy keeping those 27 clean sheets this season. Chelsea pretty mean at the back. And now a free kick to be taken by David James on the edge of his penalty area. Kicking from right to left towards the tunnel end at Wembley. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 0. We would like an early goal, please, as James slips as he delivers the ball downfield. Dublin's jumping for the first time. Merson picks up the loose ball, drives his way across. He's taking on Melchot in the area, tried to pull the ball in. It was a block by the Dutchman, and Villa have a corner.
Great run by Merson there, down the left-hand side. You haven't often seen him use his left foot, but he used it there when he got to the byline. Melchot did well, blocked it, corner kick.
Merson's taking all the corners. Now here's the conversation again on the edge of the area. This time it's a short one. Carboni back again to Merson. Big ball in from Merson, and a header over the bar in the end by Gareth Southgate, who'd gone to that far post but couldn't get the header down. And a goal kick for Chelsea, and already it's a brighter, slightly more promising second half. But of course the first half began quite well with a great pace, and then it just meandered away really.
Well, that was a bit more like as well from Villa. And it all came off the corner kick. Practice move again, I feel. Southgate in the end got the head to the ball. He was just stretching a little bit too much, I felt, to get it on target.
Frank Leboeuf probably playing for Chelsea for the last time. And he moves forward and then lays the ball to the far side, and Babayaro may not get that. He doesn't get that. And Delaney was there just in case. And let's go back again to the test match. More developments. Pat Murphy.
Andrew Flintoff's missed out, trying to accelerate. He's just come in, smashed one to mid-off, out for one. Guy Whittle, the bowler. England still haven't declared. They're 378 for 6.
Thank you very much indeed, Pat Murphy. Just down the road. Big day in London, of course, for sport. And now it's Aston Villa and Merson. What a great ball by Merson for Taylor. Oh, and Taylor's just given that away. Merson turned and found Taylor beautifully, and if Taylor could have found Carboni, Villa might have gone forward with real purpose. Now Zola to Weir, edge of the area. Weir just wide of the far post. Chelsea's best move in the game. George Weir looks to the sky. It was a great ball by Zola. It was actually a fantastic strike by Weir. It was so close to the opening goal.
Well, that's the best move of the match so far for me. It was very quick. Taylor gave the ball away for Villa to start with, and there was 2 or 3 quick passes, and it came to Zola, and he played it first time into the space. Weir, right on the edge of the box, never even looked up. Hit it with his right foot. James, no chance, and it just went past the post.
Would have been a glorious goal, that. Still Villa 0, Chelsea 0, but much brighter. And it needs to be at the start of the second half. This is 5 Live and BBC Radio World Service. And now Aston Villa's turn to step inside Chelsea territory with Alan Wright on the halfway line. Chipped forward. Lovely little cushion header by Dublin to Boateng. And then Boateng was fouled, was he, by Desai? Desai says to Boateng, come on, get up. Let's get on with the game. Graham Poll is there. Produced 3 yellow cards in the first half. He had no real alternative, though he should have produced 4. I mean, we still don't know why Deschamps didn't get a yellow card as well. So the crowd are responding to the better football. It was very quiet in the first half as the game subsided. And now a foul, this time by Poyet. I didn't actually see that, but Poyet's going to get a yellow card, I think.
Yes, a foul off the ball as much as anything. I don't think he's going to get a card. He's going to get a telling off, isn't he?
Well,
he's trying to explain to me to Poyet.
No, it's a yellow card. I thought Graham Poll had already
all the way
reached for it. So Chelsea now picked up 3 yellow cards. Gareth Barry of Villa got actually the first one, and then Melchior, Wise and Poyet. So free kick to Villa. Again, Merson's there, right backs away. And in goes the ball, and it's a poorly delivered one in the end by Merson. There was no chance of Ekiog getting on the end of that. And once more, an easy pick-up from De Hoy, who clears downfield. There's nobody there, though, from his team to get on the end of that. Villa 0, Chelsea 0 in the cup final. George Weir, so close to the opening goal, finds Wise. He played him into trouble, but Chelsea get out of trouble. And here comes Dennis Wise now. Wise punts the ball to the far side. Zola up against Ekiog on the edge of the area. Oh, and then Zola tries to take the ball around Ekiog and actually just takes the ball out of play. And it's a Villa goal kick.
He was looking for a free kick. He was never going to get the ball. Ekiog shouldered him away, and Zola hasn't got the pace, these days to get in that sort of situation. I think the game has started quite well the second half, actually. We've had that very good effort from Weir. We had a header at the other end from Southgate, just over the top.
Well, let's just hope that the teams can build on this, and that we're not flattering to deceive here. 7 minutes gone in the second half. It's a much more open game, though, already. And Carboni on the near side flicks the ball around Melchior, but Desai is anticipating. He's always one step ahead of everyone else, and De Hoy clears. Short of the halfway line. Weir heads the ball on, but Southgate's there for Villa. Another testing ball now for Leboeuf. No, it's not, because De Hoy can jump and catch that high ball, and the flag's gone up anyway over on the far side. So it's going to be a free kick for Chelsea. Desai to take.
I just wonder, really, whether Gregory is thinking at all about Joachim, with his zip, his pace. I think so far we haven't had too much from Dublin, not in my opinion anyway, in Carboni. So far, not a great deal.
Ian Taylor's just got a knock at the moment. He's out of the game as Chelsea come forward with Babayaro. They're trying to stay on side here. Di Matteo back again to Babayaro. Babayaro doesn't get the cross in. It's a well-intercepted challenge there by Delaney. Taylor's back on his feet again, and Chelsea take the throw-in over on that left-hand side, the far side of the field. Babayaro plays the ball back to Leboeuf, who's really crept forward here for Chelsea. Leboeuf delivers the ball in. It's well headed away by Southgate. Merson has to be careful not to be caught. And Di Matteo's shot is low, and Wise will get there and give Chelsea the lead. Goalkeeping mistake by David James. The shot came in from Roberto Di Matteo. Dennis Wise was there, but the goal is not going to stand. The goal is not being given by Graham Poll. The flag is up on the near side, and Wise presumably has been given offside, and the goal is ruled out. It's still 0-0.
Yes, well, the ball was knocked in, and quite clearly when the ball was struck, obviously he must have felt, that quite clearly there was player in an offside position. And if you look at the monitor, actually, it was very tight, but Weir is the man who looks to be in the offside position. But it was very tight, and James will be thankful for that. But the linesman, to be fair, Mike, he put his flag up right away.
Jubilation cut short, and David James breathes again, because that would have been a goalkeeping mistake by David James. The game continues. It's still 0-0. I'll get a comment from Chris Waddle in a moment on that. Paul Merson now back into midfield for Villa. Boateng, but maybe the game might move up a gear now following that little bit of controversy. Southgate, long ball forward, headed away by Babayaro. The game needed that goal. It's Boateng battling down there, and Ian Taylor, and the cross in the end from Merson is away from Dublin, headed away by Poyet. Zola, nice touch to Wise. Now Wise will be pumped up even more for Chelsea. Nobody to give it to at the moment. Wise plays it down the right-hand side. Could be a great ball if Zola can keep it in. No, not quite. It's out of play for a throw-in down below for Aston Villa. When there's a moment, and there isn't a moment just at the moment, we'll get Chris's thoughts too on that disallowed goal.
You've got to give Wise credit though, Mike. As soon as the ball was dropped, he was in a flash.
The ball is with Gareth Barry, and he intercepted that one pretty well. Finds Delaney over on the far side. Much better second half. 10 minutes gone, but still 0-0. Merson, very lively as ever. Merson down the line, over the top. Delaney racing onto it. Across comes Frank Leboeuf. And the Frenchman does that well, but can't avoid the throw-in. Right by the corner flag. Much more noise around the stadium. The crowd responding to the improved quality of the game. Ball thrown down to Merson. Back again to Delaney. They're waiting in the area. It's deflected as it comes in, and it's a corner. Let's just quickly get Chris's comments on that disallowed goal. Chris?
No, unfortunate for Dennis Wise. He was in there, he was in the danger zone, but the linesman's only doing his job, and for all the game needs the goal. Unfortunately, he was just a fraction offside.
Thank you very much. Chris Waddle, corner to Aston Villa. 0-0 at Wembley in the cup final. Nice afternoon now. Quite warm, I imagine it is down there on the pitch. And Paul Merson prepares to take this Villa corner. Aimed towards Dublin. Dublin's header. Chelsea defenders haven't got this one away. In the end, it's cleared by Di Matteo. It'll be gathered in on the halfway line, though, by Gareth Barry. And Barry's ball in wasn't a great one at all. Poor header away, though, by Babayaro. Southgate finds Merson well over on the right-hand side. Poor play by Babayaro. In comes the cross from Merson. Aimed towards Dublin. Headed away by Melchior. It's George Boateng. Edge of the area. And the shot has gone wide. It's a corner. Jimmy, it's a much better final now.
Terrific, yes, and there's been a bit of a scramble as well on the edge of the box involving Wise and Taylor again there. Taylor went across on his right foot and he tried to get his shot in, but he came under a challenge from two Chelsea players. Tempo is very high at the moment, and I think in the second half, it certainly moved up a gear.
Referee speaks to George Boateng on the edge of the area. Merson's preparing to deliver a corner. There are 4 Villa players all on the edge of the area, all waiting to time their moves into the penalty area to confuse the Chelsea defenders. In goes the corner from Merson. It's Deschamps heading it away. Boateng's there. Got a deflection. But in the end, it bobbles along kindly along the ground for De Hoy, who clears towards us down the Chelsea right. Zola keeps it in. And Barry can't get the ball away from him. Melchior, though, thinks about the back pass to De Hoy. He's a long way away from De Hoy. So he turns and instead plays the ball into the Villa half. Up gets Ekiog in the air. And now Dion Dublin. It falls to the Villa centre forward. Very much their flag bearer, of course, in the team, Dion Dublin. Villa, though, this time will have to give it back to David James once more. Away to the right. 12 minutes gone. 5 Live and BBC World Service in the cup final of 2000. It's Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea have had a goal disallowed. James clearance downfield. Desai heads it away from Dublin. In goes Ian Taylor again against Dennis Wise. And the ball just runs through once more to the Chelsea keeper De Hoy, who brings the ball back into his area so that he can get Chelsea moving once more.
There's a bit more space on the field now, of course, and I think the reason for it is, with both teams, pushing forward, I think the game gets stretched a little more, all the way round.
Poyet for Chelsea, their leading scorer in the FA Cup. Finds Zola, edge of the area. High one in from Zola. Weir's there, but Ekiog did really well against George Weir. Villa haven't cleared it. Dennis Wise has got it once more. finds Poyet down this right-hand side for Chelsea. Cross comes in, glanced away by Gareth Barry, but much more entertainment, really, in the opening 12 minutes than in the entire first half. Just need a goal now. Doesn't really matter where it comes from. It's Di Matteo of Chelsea. Across comes Southgate. Di Matteo helps the ball on to the far side, and Babayaro. Babayaro faced by Delaney. Babayaro on his right foot, can't get the cross in. Good block by Delaney. Merson off the chest, straight back again to Chelsea, and Leboeuf is fouled by Merson on the halfway line, and that'll be a free kick to Chelsea. In the test match, England now 378 for 7. 378 for 7. Now Leboeuf of Chelsea. Along the ground it goes to George Weah. Di Matteo onto Poyet. Much better pace about the game too now as Wright challenges Di Matteo. Carboni brings the ball down but then just sets it up for Chelsea. Oh, Wise goes in almost with 2 feet there against Wright. Dangerous ball in the area. Oh, Weah from 5 yards out of the far post has hit the ball over the bar. And George Weah can't believe it. The cross came skimming in from the right-hand side. Weah seemed to be in the perfect position. Couldn't control it on the half volley, and Villa survived.
Well, it was a great challenge. First of all, from Wise, he beat Wright in really what was a 50-50. It was a hard challenge between the two of them, just below us here. And the ball broke to Zola, and he whipped it across the box, curling. It was away from the goalkeeper, well, had a back way to score from there. 5 yards out, coming in on the back post. What a chance. That's the best chance of the match. I wonder if Chelsea are going to rue that.
15 minutes gone, exactly an hour gone in the cup final. The sort of time where the managers may start now contemplating new players. Maybe Villa will think about Joachim. The ball is with Merson. Juggles with the ball well. Finds Delaney. Into Carboni, who's still been pretty quiet, Carboni. But Deschamps gets the better of him. And then Wise and Taylor are tangling again. Cross comes Graham Poll, and he's penalising the challenge that came in from Ian Taylor. Dennis Wise, of course, is on a yellow card in this game already. Now Poyet of Chelsea. Finds Melchiot just inside the Villa half. Down the near side, the right. Infield to Poyet. Poyet onto Weah. Weah, though, runs into the challenge from Southgate. And now can Carboni escape for Villa? He's held up by Melchiot. Plays the ball into Dublin, who lays it off well to Taylor. Taylor now veers towards the far side. If he'd gone down the centre, Villa might have cut through. It's Delaney wide on the right. A much more open cup final now. Still 0-0. Delaney moving towards the edge of the area. Doesn't seem to know what to do with the ball. He's going to run that out for a goal kick. And Villa had 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4 players waiting there for the cross to come in.
Yes, Delaney there had an opportunity to get the ball in early. It was a good break by Villa, but Delaney slowed it all up. He hasn't quite got off that game yet when he gets to the last third of the field, when he's playing against top-class players. But he's a very purposeful player, Delaney. He's come a long way in 12 months.
16 and a half minutes gone in the cup final. In the second half, you're listening to 5 Live and World Service, and it's much better. But you just need some goals now. The ball is with Melchiot, who's come in, of course, for the unfortunate Albert Ferrer, who was injured in the last Premiership game of the season and could be doubtful for Euro 2000. Zola trying to turn away from his marker. Left-footed ball in by Zola. Weah tries to take the ball on the chest, lifts the ball over James. No, not quite. Didn't quite get the elevation on that, and James was able to palm it away. But Villa still under pressure. Zola's much more involved, 2 now in the second half, as Deschamps climbs above the defender, wins the header. Wise, 2 Villa players with him, one of whom is George Boateng, and Wise is squeezed out of it below us here. And when the ball comes into the 6-yard area, it's David James is all the way.
Well, David James made a very good save, but I think really Chelsea really should have been punished there, because I thought Weah put his left arm on the ball. When the ball was knocked forward, I thought he controlled it with his left arm, and the referee didn't see it, neither did the linesman.
At some point pretty soon, I think Flo is going to come into the game. He's certainly warming up down there. He's back on the bench now, and Dublin tries to win the header in the air, and now it's George Boateng. Carboni never got hold of that, though, with his right foot. He turned, tried to hit the ball in over his shoulder, but it's a soft one, and Ed de Hoy is there once more. John Gregory's also motioning to Joachim, who's behind the goal at the moment over on the far side. Well, Joachim, of course, has got great pace. I'll tell you what will be interesting. If Carboni comes off, I wonder how many buckets of water he'll kick today, remembering what he did here in the semi-final.
I should get that new suit on, John, if I were. This might be a good time to remove the jacket.
Deschamps, who's also pretty effective in the second half so far. Dennis Wise, centre of Chelsea's midfield, to Zola's feet. Back again to Wise. Graham Poll gets out of the way. The referee, Wise, lifts the ball into the area. Lovely running from Zola. Zola trying to turn now against Gareth Barry, but Barry is firm and concedes the throw-in over on the far side for Chelsea. Really open second half. Joachim, we think, is coming on soon with his pace for Aston Villa. Throw to be taken by Babayaro. No more than 2 or 3 yards from the corner flag, over on the left-hand side. Thrown down to Zola. Zola's hemmed in a little. She finds Leboeuf in space. Little shuffle from Leboeuf. Half thinks about the shot. Oh, and then lifts a very wayward one in with the right foot. There's no way that George Weah can get on the end of that in the penalty area. And that is going to be a goal kick to Aston Villa. Who's coming off, do you think?
Well, I don't know, because Steve Stone is also limbering up down just below us. And John Gregory's there on the edge of the pitch. He's probably weighing all his options up here. But I quite clearly feel that, perhaps if he could get the ball over the top now, Joachim will chase it. Terrific pace. He's got plenty of energy left. About 25 minutes to go in this half. Very important time for him.
Stone did very well when he came on as a substitute in the semi-final, I thought, against Bolton. Now, Weah, who's back inside his own half, but the ball falls to Desai. And Desai uses Babayaro. Babayaro, long ball, but it doesn't reach Zola. We've played 19 minutes of the second half in the cup final. Still Villa 0, Chelsea 0. Still looking for that elusive opening goal here. There's Melchiot, who's done okay on that right-hand side. Jumps with Carboni. And now Wise tees the ball in for Poyet. Poyet down the line to Melchiot. Melchiot, he's got 3 Villa players around him. He shouldn't really cut through here, but he still manages to wriggle the ball back to Wise. Now Gustavo Poyet. Poyet, across the field it goes to Babayaro. Babayaro's got quite a bit of room here. Di Matteo's pointing. In it goes. He's given offside. The flag goes up and it's a free kick to Aston Villa.
Well, that was good play by Chelsea. I think when they play the passing game, they're as good as anything in the division. That was one or two lovely passes put together there. Poyet, Babayaro, just slightly over it. Lovely chip forward. And Di Matteo had gone forward, just went a little bit too early.
Steve Harrison, John Gregory's assistant, is pointing as Dublin tries to win the ball again. At the moment, the two men warming up most furiously are Hendry and Stone behind the goal. Can't see Joachim at the moment. The ball is with Zola on the Chelsea left far side. Real good quick tempo about the game at the moment. It's Zola once more. Back again to Frank Leboeuf. Leboeuf short of the halfway line. Arrows it across to this near side. Nicely little cushioned header by Wise to Melchiot. Back again to Wise. Over the head from Wise. Nobody's there for Chelsea though. Carboni has to be careful edge of the area. And now Wright should clear for Aston Villa. 20 minutes gone in the second half. Desai going with Dublin wherever he goes. Climbs above the big centre forward. And Harrison and Gregory together again there. Just inside that technical area. Screaming instructions across to the Villa players. Something's not quite right for them at the moment. Barry to the far side and Delaney. Oh, it's a poor ball by Barry. Gift of a throw-in to Chelsea. Halfway inside the Villa half. We've played over 21 minutes of the second half. Joachim now is... where is he going? He's running back towards the goal away to the left, so he's not coming on yet. Leboeuf of Chelsea. Big one to this near side. Alan Wright with a header away for Aston Villa. Poyet and Weah almost get in each other's way. They do get in each other's way. And now Carboni, a flick from Dublin. Well, it was an extravagant little flick from Dublin, but Boateng couldn't run onto it. And Leboeuf's quick clearance once more will test Alan Wright. Right, and he sliced that one. Sliced that one towards the Royal box. And it's going to be a throw into Chelsea, down below on this near side. Melchiot, back again to Desai. Through the back four it goes now. Leboeuf. Babayaro makes the run over on the left-hand side, anticipating a great ball from Leboeuf. Babayaro now for Chelsea. He's been forced back by Delaney. It's now Leboeuf. Down the centre from Leboeuf, all the way through to David James. We have reached the halfway point of the second half. It's still 0-0. And here's Owen Green.
Penalties.
I think a lot of the substitutions will depend on how John Gregory sees this game in the middle of the field now. That's what I really believe.
Right, here's Carboni sprinting forward. He'll struggle to keep that ball in play. He can't. And it's behind for a goal kick. Bright sunshine over Wembley Stadium at the moment. And it's been a much brighter second half. Steve Stone is just calling his missus at the moment to let her know to switch the television on. It might be coming on, love. Yeah. No, My Fair Lady's on BBC One. No, switch it over now. That's it. Something like that.
I think John Gregory will have to think this out, really, because of he's obviously got one or two options, and Joachim, though, to me, would be the obvious one.
Poyet forward towards Di Matteo. Good header back by Delaney. It's still stalemate. Villa 0, Chelsea 0. David James, very fortunate, though. That was back to his old Liverpool days.
If I was him, I think I'd take a chance with Stone down that right-hand side. If I was him, that's one thing I think I would look for.
Oh, foul by Leboeuf on Dion Dublin, and Merson's going to rush across there. That's for sure. The free kick is only about, 8-9 yards from the edge of the D. And Merson, inside right position, and Merson probably will strike it, though Alan Wright's gone across too, and he's got a terrific shot. Now, Chelsea better be very careful with this wall. Ed De Hoy hasn't had a great deal to do in this game. He's happy with, is it 3 men in the wall? Wise lurking just to the right. And Gareth Barry's in a forward position as well. Carboni's inside the D, and up goes Gareth Southgate. So Barry's going to retreat. He's the only defender left back. Merson chips the ball into the penalty. Deep for Southgate, who heads it back across goal. Dublin heads it goalwards, but high and behind.
Southgate got hurt there. When he's down there just at the moment, whether it's cramp, I don't know. But it was a practice move. Southgate comes late to the free kick. Everybody runs to the near post. He goes to the back post. And he, in fact, got the header on. And got it back into the middle, but Dublin on the second header was in a difficult position. He's headed it over the top.
Bit of cramp, isn't it?
Bit of cramp, yes. I think he's played well, Southgate, today.
Yes, so do I. Very well indeed. But it's still not the final that we'd hoped for as the last at the Old Wembley.
You've seen the league matches between these two as well. There's not much between these, contrasting styles in a way, but, this area where they're both very strong defensively is in the middle of the field.
Chris Waddle, just to my left. What are your thoughts, Chris, as we enter the last 20 minutes?
I think Chelsea's got on top basically because I think Deschamps and Dennis Wise have won the battle in there. I think they're winning all the drop balls, they're winning all the 50-50s against Taylor and Boateng now, and I think that's dictating the play there. Chelsea look far more creative. They're getting better possession because the two guys in the middle of the park are winning the battle.
Southgate has received treatment. He's been told to get off the pitch, and shortly he'll be told to get back on again. A little over 19 minutes left before extra time. We haven't had extra time since Arsenal and Sheffield Wednesday in 1993, and then we needed a replay, and then we were within seconds of the first ever penalty shootout in the FA Cup final until Arsenal scored. Ball upfield. Dublin heads it down. Carboni tries to shoot. Great blocking challenge from Desailly. It was so effective. The ball went 50 yards away from the danger area, Jimmy.
I think he's been strong as well. Desailly, I think he's looked very powerful, and I think he's won the headers against Dublin, and he's done the covering behind the other defenders when he's had to do. He's looked the part. In the other matches I've seen him this season, I don't think he's been quite so effective, but he's been a tower of strength for Chelsea today.
I think Desailly and Southgate have been the two best players. Unfortunately, both defenders.
This fellow's not done bad.
Melchior plays the ball to the left, and Babayara chases after it and meets it. Forward to Melchior again. What's he doing? Left side of the penalty area. Oh, he's spun away from his marker, then he goes down, and he's won a free kick.
He's a willing lad, he really is. And he's got one or two tricks as well, and there he popped up on the left wing position. Remember, he's a right full back, and he's won a free kick now. This is in a very dangerous position.
Well, there wasn't much contact there from Ian Taylor, and maybe a little tug at the end. The free kick is 5 yards to the left of the penalty area. Zola, right-footed, slips it in. James goes, drops it, and it's hooked into the net by Di Matteo. Another terrible mistake by David James. And Di Matteo, whose early goal 3 years ago effectively won the cup for Chelsea, may have won the last ever FA Cup final in front of the Twin Towers. 18 minutes to go. The ball fell beautifully to him. Lashed with the right foot, high into the net. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 1.
Well, it was a difficult ball, I must be honest, for James. The ball was whipped in from the left by Zola, and James actually was reaching for it above the heads. He looks a bit disconsolate now. He obviously feels he should have done better with it. And what happened was the ball dropped down on the edge of the 6-yard box, and Di Matteo said, thanks very much, thumped it into the roof of the net. Well, there we are. The same men for courses. Di Matteo again.
Roberto Di Matteo. Chris Waddle, what do you think?
Well, it was unfortunate. He's got two good hands on it, but he didn't get the punch he wanted, and it's went into the bodies. Unfortunately, Gareth Southgate doesn't know anything about it, but it's a great finish by Di Matteo, very alert.
And Chelsea are celebrating. And maybe a mite too early. We've still got 17 minutes to go. But Villa haven't scored against Gianluca Vialli's team the last 3 meetings between the sides, and they haven't really created anything of great note today, Jimmy. So it's going to take quite a change now for Villa to get back into this final. Barry to Merson, a man who might. Merson infield towards Barry, deflected away by Wise. Southgate lashes it to the far side. Delaney jumps, not a great header. Taylor jumps too with the buff. In goes Boateng, but it breaks for Chelsea. And here's the goal scorer, Di Matteo, hitting it to the left. Where goes under. No foul by Ekiog, and it's out of play for a throw into Aston Villa.
Yes, it's going to be difficult now. You know, they've got a very strong back line, and these two lads in front there, Deschamps and Wise, of course, who've seen it all before. So Villa really going to have to pull something out now.
And John Gregory is just on his mobile phone, presumably the wife telling her it's not going too well, love. Now we've got a free kick for a foul by Melshot, who was booked in the first half, and I think the referee, Graham Paul, is just going to say, now hang on, son, you don't want to do anything silly now and spoil what might be a great day for you. This is your final warning.
That's right. He's going to tell him. He's a very enthusiastic lad, Melshot, and he's the lad who's won the free kick that so far has put Chelsea ahead. Remember that, he was the one who made the run all that way.
Quarter of an hour to go. Villa 1 down. Merson's free kick swung in there. De Hoy's absolutely nowhere. Carboni shoots clear off the line by LeBeuf, and it was no foul. Shambolic goalkeeping by Ed De Hoy.
Yes, I don't think Carboni also knew that he had plenty of time when the ball came to him. He hit it with his left foot. Ed De Hoy came out. He was scrambling for it, but LeBeuf was there, read the game well, back onto his goal line. Carboni only half hit it with his left foot, and LeBeuf was there though. He's got it away, that's all that matters.
Well, he ain't had a lot to do, Ed De Hoy, and what he did there wasn't very clever. Merson free kick again. Right footed towards Ian Dublin. Dublin heads it down, but it's only to Zola, and Zola evades Carboni, another Italian, and hits the clearance to the halfway line. 14 minutes to go. Chelsea lead 1-0. Are they heading for another cup final win? This is their third final in 7 years, so they're accustomed to being at Wembley Stadium on big days, and this might be quite some consolation for what otherwise has been an indifferent season from Chelsea. We expected so much of them. They reached the quarter-finals of the Champions League. Wonderful performance, and now Way is through, but he's offside.
Just went too early, but it was a lovely little exchange again between one or two Chelsea players. Deschamps lobbed the ball forward, and George Wade just went a little bit too early. Clearly offside.
Still no Joachim, though he's got to be coming on soon. In fact, he's coming on now. There'll be a double substitution, Joachim and Stone. And now it's played forward to Zola, and Zola takes it down with his right foot. A few yards outside the penalty area. Tackled by Southgate, beaten by Southgate. Well, it'll be between Southgate and Desai for man of the match.
Yeah, I think it's amazing how we all see the game differently. I think, you know, if I'd have been John Gray, I was telling you, I think I might have put Joachim and Stone on just before Chelsea scored. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I know it's all right being white after an event, but I think that's the time sometimes when they can really count. But anyway, here we are.
Poyet throws the ball in, and then Barry tackles Zola and deflects the ball behind for a corner. And John Gregory has issued the final instruction to Julian Joachim, but he's not going to make these changes now. Not with his team defending a corner. 13 minutes to go. Di Matteo's goal separating the teams. Wise with a corner, right-footed now. Di Matteo on the near post, headed clear by Dublin, and then Boateng is there on the edge of his own penalty area. Back to Alan Wright, and Wright lashes the ball upfield. Deschamps heads it from inside the centre circle. Merson takes it on his chest, but Poyet flicks it forward, bounces once, and through to David James.
Deschamps, I think, has been very effective today, quietly. You know, I've been watching him moving around the field. He's nudging people around. He's winning tackles. You know, breaking up quite a lot of Villa's moves.
LeBeuf hits it upfield. Barry stretching, but heads it away. And there's Wright taking it on his chest and immediately whipping it over the halfway line. Carboni jumps into Melshot, and then that looks like a foul by Boateng on Poyet. And here are the two substitutions. I would take Carboni off and Taylor or who's the other one? Boateng.
Well, we'll see what he's going to do.
It's Taylor. Taylor's coming off.
Taylor, yeah, Stone's going to go there. He's going to play in the midfield area. Now, what's he going to do with his strikers?
Joachim has to be off for Carboni.
Carboni, yeah.
We've only got 12 minutes to go.
Yes, rather like Carboni. I think he's a very talented player, but he's found it very difficult to get in the game today, as has Dublin, to be honest.
And to be fair, his mood is rather better on this occasion. He's not going to kick any buckets of water. takes his tracksuit top. He's being congratulated by the backroom staff of Aston Villa, who now search frantically for an equaliser. 1-0 down in the cup final to Chelsea. 12 minutes to go. Ekiok heads the ball to Delaney. Stone is wide on the right at the moment. Stone just over the halfway line. Back to Delaney. Boateng available in field, but Delaney, the Welshman, ignores him. Now he plays it to Boateng, way close by. Still no Chelsea changes, but they're in front, remember. Gareth Barry forward for Aston Villa. Infield to Merson. Merson back towards Barry. Poyet with an acrobatic clearance. High, dropping down now. Merson heads it back to Wright. Wright tries to clip it towards Barry, who's stayed upfield, but it hits the Chelsea player, and Wise plays it away carefully to Zola. Babayaro sprinting forward down the left-hand side. He's an option, and it goes to the Nigerian. Deschamps in field, so too is Di Matteo. Back down to Leboeuf, and Leboeuf hits it behind Desailly to Milshot. Milshot right-footed, ball upfield. Di Matteo running through the middle, might drop to Zola. Out comes James, and James is there first.
Yes, Chelsea looking much more confident, and it's that little group in the middle of the field, Wise, Zola, Deschamps, who are just controlling it at the moment.
Here comes Merson forward again. Merson wide to Alan Wright, down the left, teasing cross in, but straight through to Ed de Hoy. The losing finalists, James, in the last half dozen years haven't scored.
No.
So 1-0 looks as if it's enough for Chelsea.
Well, they've got to produce something a little bit different, Villa, and obviously that's why Joachim's come on. They've got to get the ball over the top, they've got to get his pace, and Joachim's got to really motor around now.
Dublin heads the ball on towards Joachim. Stone running behind him, might fall for Steve Stone, doesn't, because Deschamps is back there, and so too is Desailly, who heads the ball back to Ed de Hoy. And Ed de Hoy just waits, and then Dublin comes forward as if to say, mate, get on with it. Get on with your clearance. Finally, de Hoy lifts the ball, and then he throws it out to Milshot, who's completely unmarked. 10 minutes to go. This is 5 Live on the BBC World Service. The FA Cup final. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 1. Here's Zola to the right of the penalty area, into George Weah. Weah tries to clip the ball beyond Ekiok. Out came James, gathers it, and throws it out to Boateng. Stone's available. Goes to Steve Stone.
Lovely trick by Weah there. It just didn't quite come off. He does some terrific things. Just couldn't quite get round. Ekiok did well for Villa.
Chelsea have the ball back. Babayaro to Leboeuf. A yard short of the halfway line, and then a crossfield ball to Zola. Instant control from the little Italian. I hope this isn't his last game for Chelsea. Zola to Poyet, who's had a poor game, and he hits it straight out of play.
A bit of experience showing now. How many 30-year-olds plus are there in Chelsea's team? 6 or 7?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
8 are they? Yeah. I think the thing is that I remember thinking about it, yesterday I thought, if you're going for experience, this is really it. And of course, it's not been a hot day. That was one thing I thought that might have just counted against them. But it's been overcast skies, and they've got the lead now, and they've got their experience behind them. Villa got a real job on the hands.
A little over 8 minutes to go. Chelsea lead 1-0. Zola back to Poyet. Left-footed crossfield ball. Excellently struck. Straight to Babayaro. 30 yards from goal. Back to Deschamps. Flick forward towards Weah. Boateng struggling to head it away. Weah back to Poyet. Poyet's tackled, and the ball might break to Dion Dublin. And Dublin so anxious to get the ball under control, but Chelsea get in there, and then it's out of Boateng for a throw-in to Chelsea.
Yes, and Melcho again. Milshot, he's played well, this lad, I think. Not only was he involved in the goal, but his work rate has been terrific. He's a bit of a thorn down this side, for Villa. He really is.
Dion Dublin has the ball, but he's inside his own half, and now he hasn't the ball because Poyet's taking it off him, and then Boateng pushes Poyet over. It's a free kick to Chelsea, and it's going very much Chelsea's way now. This sort of persistent stoppage of play, Jim, suits Chelsea.
That's right. Chelsea, of course, it's that experience, you see, they know how to play the game as well, they know all about it. I'm just wondering really what Villa have got really left to play. But the one thing we're running out of time, I know, but the one thing they've got to start passing the ball a bit better.
Wise free kick to Zola. Zola unmarked into the penalty. Angles acute, tries to pull it back, knocked away by Barry. Only to Zola again, right edge of the penalty. That's a better ball in. Poyet attempts an overhead kick, doesn't make proper contact. Weah back to Babayaro. Babayaro crosses, Steve Stone intercepts, and Stone has to run the ball away and upfield for Aston Villa. Play towards Merson. Good interception by Leboeuf. Out of play for a throw into Villa.
Great challenge by Leboeuf. You know, he had that one lapse of concentration in the first half that could have been expensive. Since then, he's been very strong. Him and Desai have been very strong at the heart of Chelsea.
Southgate loses the ball, and it's clipped forward by Wise towards Weah, and James is out of his penalty area, almost runs into Barry, hits it out of play, and that is confusion, and there are signs of panic now in the Villa lineup.
No, James is about 10 yards outside his own box there, and Barry was running back. If he'd have stayed back, Barry would have just played the ball back to him. But anyway, he makes his choice, off he goes.
Wise throw into Zola, back to Zola. Zola controls it well, 2 yards in from the right touchline, and Zola's beginning to enjoy himself now, teasing the Villa defender right, infield to Melchon, now Weah trying to make room onto his left foot, plays it all the way back to Babayaro, 35 yards out, Babayaro, Di Matteo available to his left, Di Matteo the goal scorer, taking on Delaney, pulls the cross high, and it's dropping just on the roof of the net, and the crowd 78,217 plus us, Jim.
Plus us. And lovely passing move again by Chelsea. It's all Chelsea at the moment, and Di Matteo just couldn't find the cross there. He's put it on the roof of the goal.
The latest from Lords, England 398 for 8, and the latest from Wembley, Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 1, Roberto Di Matteo's goal. Free kick to Villa, and we've got 5 minutes to go. And already the chief steward at Wembley will be reaching into his right-hand jacket pocket looking for the winning team's ribbons. Villa on the attack now, edge of the Chelsea penalty area. Poyet heads it clear, and Di Matteo, no nonsense, shoots it out of play.
It's amazing, isn't it, this thing about, you know, players who get goals at Wembley over the years. Di Matteo got the fastest goal ever, you know, when they came last time, and here he is again, popping up with a goal. Amazing, really.
Southgate for Aston Villa, 4.5 minutes to go. Right foot of ball forward, palmed away by Wise. Play continues. Right hits it high. Headed down to the penalty area. Joachim after it, but he won't get there. De Hoy just runs across the ball and lets it go behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's experience again showing for Chelsea. They look quite composed at the moment, and they look, you know, they look well capable of just holding on to this, purely with their experience.
Well, they've kept more clean sheets than anybody else in the Premiership this season.
That's right.
So they know how to do it. They know how to do it. And perhaps, you know, the excitement that they brought to the English representation in the Champions League merits the FA Cup for them. They deserve a trophy at the end of what could have been a utterly fantastic season, but still is a very good season for them. Zola after it, beats right. Zola down the right-hand side. Where makes the run to the far post, then checks it. Played it instead towards Di Matteo, cleared away by Delaney. Poyet goes in. Boateng's foot was a little bit high, but he's just obviously trying to win the ball, and it's out of play, and it's going to be a throw into Chelsea. Poyet to take it. 3.5 minutes to go. This is 5 Live and the BBC World Service, bringing you the Cup Final of the year 2000. First of the new millennium, the last at the Old Wembley. Chelsea lead 1-0. Wise back to Leboeuf. Babayaro on the far side. Leboeuf's looking right though, towards Poyet. Poyet, neatly cushioned header to Zola. Right edge of the penalty area. Zola into the box. Beats Barry once, then twice. Plays it back. Oh, Di Matteo might have thought of shooting. Poyet crosses high towards Deschamps. Deschamps is beaten there by Stone. And Stone runs the ball away, but he's so deep. And all he wants to do is get into an attacking position. And instead he has to concede a throw-in.
Yes, at this moment, Villa just chasing round after Chelsea. Chelsea look confident. Zola is propped up now down this right-hand side. Every time he gets the ball, something happens. This is the last throw of the dice now. Gregory.
Henry's coming on for right, and also Torre-Andre Flo is coming on, and who for? Presumably Weah. We'll see. It is for George Weah.
Yeah.
So it will be Flo and Zola, at least for the last couple of minutes.
He's played well, Weah. I must give him credit. I thought Flo would have started the game, but Weah, you know, Dialli knows his men much better than I do, and he's a good player, Weah. He really is a good player.
He might be heading back to AC Milan next season now. Flo will be staying at Stamford Bridge, of that there can be no doubt, surely. And we've got a little over 2 minutes to go. Chelsea lead 1-0. How much stoppage time will be required? There wasn't very much in the first half. Deschamps plays it forward. Flo chests the ball back to Di Matteo. Here's Wise, and Melchot runs up from right back. Poyet ahead of him. Zola edge of the penalty area, says, give it to me. Played deeper, though, towards Flo, ahead of the Norwegian, and Delaney retreats on the far side. Deep inside his own half. Villa have to get the ball forward over the halfway line. They won't do it with that clearance, because it's blocked by Di Matteo out of play for a throw into Villa midway inside their territory.
Well, in the last half hour particularly, Mr. Deschamps and Wise have been very strong for me in the centre of the midfield for Chelsea. And what they've done, they've broke up so many Villa moves, and in this last 20 minutes in particular, I think they've been the really big force in this match.
Seconds over a minute to go. Chelsea lead 1-0. Wise to Flo. And Flo takes the ball down the left-hand side, but runs it out of play, so it's a throw into Aston Villa. And they've got 1 or 2 attacking chances left in this FA Cup final. The throw goes to Southgate, the captain. He's been terrific for them. Wide to Barry, who's also had a good game. Back to Southgate once more. Southgate, left-footed, directed forward. Dublin jumps, but heads it away from the penalty area. Delaney chases up there, and Babayaro cleverly lets the ball bounce out of play for a Chelsea throw.
That's experience as well, you know. He's one of the younger end, but he'll learn off these older players. Just let the ball bounce. It's all the pressure now is on Villa. They've got to go for it.
Poor header by Ekiog. Only to Zola. And now Wise on the edge of the centre circle, and Wise just wasting time there. Dinks it down the right flank, even though there's no blue shirt there. And is it just kept in play by Barry?
Just played it there, and then all regroup at the back. I suppose that was the tactic there.
John Gregory anticipates triumph. He's not in his seat in the stand anymore. He's out in the technical area. Disappointed that Dublin didn't win that header, and Chelsea have the ball back. We're into stoppage time, and we've got 3 minutes. 3 minutes of stoppage time. Chelsea lead 1-0. Chelsea fans celebrating already. Perhaps too soon. Here's Merson over the halfway line. Forward it goes. Boateng backheels the ball. Steve Stone to Merson once more. Henry's up on the attack. Merson to Stone. Wide to Merson once more. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Zola's back there hustling him. And Zola may have won the ball, and he has, and he finds Milchop. And then Stone intercepts once more. Ball's out of play. Villa throw in. Stone to take it. So anxious now, Aston Villa. Have to get a goal somehow. But the ball's with Desailly. And Desailly hits it out over the touchline for another Villa throw in. We've already played nearly a minute of the 3 minutes of stoppage time. Stone throws to Merson. Back to Stone. Milshot gets in a tackle, puts it out of play again. Villa are getting nowhere. Henry takes the throw in this time. To Merson. First time cross into the penalty area. Desailly heads it down. Dropping to Boateng. Southgate's back inside the centre circle. Even David James well out of his penalty area now. Everybody else is in the Chelsea half. Desailly heads it firmly away. Dropping to Barry. Barry evades Desailly and Zola. Well done, Barry. Barry now, Stone to his left, ignores him, crosses into the penalty area, and it's lifted away by Poyet. Good clearance. Barry knocks it back in, deep towards the far post. Villa head over the crossbar. That was a chance for Ekiog.
Well, there was a great effort too by Villa. They put a little bit of pressure on there for about a full minute, and in the end the ball came in from Barry, who's played well in this second half, right to the back post. Ekiog had made ground. He was beyond the 6-yard area. Half chance certainly, he's heading it over the top.
Goal kick to Chelsea, and we've got a minute and 10 seconds left in the FA Cup final. It was a chance for Ekiog.
I thought he might have headed it back across the goal, I did, Alan, from the angle he was at, but he went for glory. There we go.
Here's the partnership. Flo to Zola. Zola then tackled by Boateng. No, I'm not sure that was a foul at all.
No, I'm not.
Boateng absolutely furious at Graham Paul's decision. And now to add insult to injury.